Hare Krishna. We'll start with the invocation. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. We welcome Samma. Samma is an example of diligence and is an example of devotee, that what devotee promises, he will follow through. So when batch 6 and 7 Bhagavad Gita started, Samma was traveling to India and she said that she will connect with me later on. So she, after returning back from India, she connected with me and she is fully caught up on Bhagavad Gita and she is now joined Nectar of Instruction, is also on the path of getting caught up on Nectar of Instruction class recordings also. That is super excellent. This is the nature of a devotee. Thank you, Sama, for setting the example for others, and welcome. So feel free to ask any and all questions, even though you are joining partway through. All right. So today we will cover Nectar of Instruction, text number 2, the remaining 3 of the 6 items. And then we will get into answering the inquiries submitted by devotees. We'll try to end early because many of us have to go to temple for services. So we have discussed that Nectar of Instruction, text number 1, is the focus is on controlling the urges. Controlling urges applies to all. Text number 2 is from a devotional perspective. Text number 2 describes 6 items that spoil your bhakti. So text number 2 has 3 main points. First is simple living and high thinking, that we should live a simple life and spend time on high thinking, means spend time on spirituality. While most people in the material world, instead of simple living, high thinking, they simply live and hardly think. Then text number 2, the second point, describes about the 6 items that spoil bhakti. From the 6 items, the previous class, we have discussed 3 items. First was atyahar, means overeating and over collecting money and over collecting information. The second of the 6 items is prayas, means over endeavor. Endeavor is not condemned, but over endeavor is condemned. And the third of the 6 items which we have discussed already is prajalpa, means idle talk. And the remaining 3 items of the 6 items that spoil bhakti, we will discuss today first thing, so that you have something to read as part of your spiritual endeavor. Because last class, we spent the whole class only on inquiries. So we will have time to answer some inquiries, I'm hoping. So the 4th item that spoils bhakti is Niyamagraha. Let's first read Nectar of Instruction text number 2 to refresh our memory. Let's see, whosoever wants to read Nectar of Instruction text number 2 translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Go ahead.
One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. Number 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Number 2, over-endeavoring on mundane things that are difficult to obtain. Number 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Number 4, practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Number 5, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And number 6, being greedy for mundane achievements.
Yeah, very good. So, 4th item is Niyamagraha. Following rules without purpose, or the other is neglecting rules. So this word Niyamagraha has 2 meanings. Niyam means rules, and the word agraha has 2 meanings here. First meaning of agraha is to neglect rules, and the other meaning of agraha is to insist on rules without understanding the purpose or the principle. Both ways is an obstacle on the path of spirituality. So, rule and principle, both are important. But principle is more important than the rule. The rules are also important, but rules are somewhat flexible. And Srila Prabhupada says, things have to be adjusted according to time, place, and circumstances. So temple has glorification of the Lord. But somebody may say that he wants to build a temple, but the temple or the deities should be facing east, and that facing east option is not available. Therefore, I will not build a temple. So if we focus on this point of I don't have an east facing view, then we are insisting on the rules so rigidly without understanding the purpose, meaning becoming judgmental of the situation without understanding the facts of the situation. That the temple is a place where Gopinath is glorified. So as long as Gopinath is glorified, that east facing becomes secondary. So Srila Prabhupada was remarkably flexible the way he adapted Krishna consciousness. So we have to be adapt. Adapt means be an expert. Adapt means to know what to adopt and what to adapt. So what to adopt means take it as it is and present it as it is without changing the essence of what you are presenting. And what to adapt means what to present according to time, place, and circumstances. So all this is Niyamagraha, means fanatical adherence to rules without understanding the principle. The second meaning of Niyamagraha, graha means to accept, and agraha means to not accept. Therefore, Niyamagraha means that whimsically one rejects the rules, that this is not important. Why bother about such things? So very often, whenever any rules are difficult for us to follow, we can say, well, this is impractical, or well, this is irrelevant, or this is not important. This way, we can dismiss most of Krishna consciousness. Now, this rejecting all these rules, this is not Krishna consciousness at all. Niyamagraha would mean that we neglect the rules and regulations because for some reason we don't like them. We don't find the rules and regulations convenient. Therefore, I will neglect those rules. So neglecting rules and regulations is not recommended. Any questions, comments, realizations on the Niyamagraha point? So the fifth item is Jana-sanga, mean avoiding association of materialistic people. This association point is the crux of nectar of instruction on multiple levels. Therefore, association comes in text number 2, text number 3, text number 4, text number 5. Essentially comes many other places also, but his association is the crux of nectar of instruction. So Jana-sanga means association of materialistic people is very detrimental level of bad association. Sangha means attachment. And another meaning of Sangha is associations, and both meanings are related. So question for all of you, what Bhagavad Gita verse comes to mind when you use the word Sangha? Anybody? All of you have gone through that verse, even if in the batch 6 and 7 you have gone through that verse. What verse comes to mind when you think of the word Sangha, association or attachment? Somebody?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संगस्ते सुपजायते संगत संजायते कामा कामत क्रोधो विजायते.
Very good, correct, and super excellent recitation. So Gulshan practices memorizing verses while she does services very frequently at the temple, and today also she is coming along with many other devotees where we'll practice this even more. Very good, correct answer, that the two meanings of Sangha are related. The two meanings I gave is, one is attachment, one is and the other is association. So both are related. By association, attachment develops. And by attachment, association is chosen. To understand this with an example, many of us, almost all of us are from India or around area. That if someone likes cricket, that is the attachment. And the person around his work, school, will try to find out who likes cricket and mix with those people, meaning by attachment, association develops or association is chosen. And by association also, attachment develops. Example, many of us from India have immigrated here to North America and Canada and around areas. That here in North America, say people are mad after soccer or baseball or whatever the sport be. Then this Indian wants to develop attachment for soccer and baseball so that he can mingle with his colleagues. So by our attachment, we choose the kind of association. And by the association that is there around us, attachment develops. So when we associate with devotees, on the other hand, devotees have spiritual desires and devotional attachments. And by association with devotees, we also develop devotional attachments. So first, understand what do we mean by this word association. The answer is, association is not just physical proximity. So physical proximity can be there without having any association. Prabhupada gives the example that a spiritual master is sitting on Vyasasana and a fly comes and sits on the body of the spiritual master, irritating the spiritual master. So the fly is having physical proximity to the spiritual master, but the fly is not getting any benefit. Fly is not associating with the spiritual master. Therefore, physical proximity in of itself is not association. Physical proximity, yes, of course, it can shape and affect most people. So then the question becomes that if physical proximity is not association, then what exactly is association? The answer is, association essentially means emotional exchange. When we share emotions with someone we associate, we try to give our emotions to them and they give their emotions to us. When such transfer of emotions happen, that is association. A live example for many of us virtually present here, as well as those who will be listening to classes who are from India and around areas and who have immigrated here to North America. We have family back in India. We are physically far away, but we exchange emotions that when something good happens in the family, we share emotions and we are happy. And when something bad happens, we still share emotions and we get sad. So physically we are far away, but we are exchanging emotions. That is association. Similarly, at the Toronto Temple here in Toronto, that there are people staying as neighbors right across from the temple and right next to the temple. But they are not inclined to devotional service. Even with physical proximity to so many devotees and to Krishna, they don't change because their emotional world is entirely different from the devotee's emotional world and Krishna's emotional world. I have personally spoken to these neighbors who live across from the temple. I have given them the temple card and I have told them, you live across at 7 o'clock on Sunday, just come in the temple and take prasad, it's free. But they don't come because their emotional world is entirely different. They are not exchanging emotions with devotees and with Krishna. So the result, what's the result? That there is no transfer of emotions. Hence, there is no association, even with physical proximity of those who live right across from the temple. Therefore, association means transfer of emotions. And emotions are connected with desires. Just as I gave the example of cricket, that someone comes to India from some other part of the world where cricket is not very well known sport. Now, this person in India, he has come to study or work. So students or colleagues are just mad about cricket in India. So seeing the excitement of everyone around for cricket, there is an infectious effect on this person who has immigrated to India. So infectious effect can be positive or negative, depending on the nature of association. Therefore, this new person visiting India gets affected and the desires develop accordingly. Hence, when there is transfer of emotions, everyone is celebrating, and this person, either as a student or as worker, also wants to join the celebration. Hence, by engaging in those emotions, that person who has moved to India also gets those desires. When we enjoy the emotions of materialistic people, then we get the desires that these materialistic people are having. And those materialistic desires are often non-devotional. Therefore, the desires of materialistic people are either non-devotional or sometimes anti-devotional. Example of non-devotional desires means, say, talk about cricket, politics, movies, etc. These are non-devotional desires. There is no direct breaking of regulative principles. Hence, they are non-devotional. But still, these non-devotional desires take us away from Krishna. Therefore, we have to avoid the association of materialistic people. I'm sure many of you will soon have a question about how do I do, what do I do at workplace. We'll come back to discuss those practical points in a moment. Now, if someone talks about sensuality or sexuality, this obviously involves breaking of regulative principles. So this is anti-devotional. So both non-devotional and anti-devotional desires are detrimental. Anti-devotional is far more detrimental. Therefore, we have to be very careful. So Srila Prabhupada says, people try to create association. Similarly, we have created Krishna consciousness, temples. What is the purpose of Krishna conscious movement? The answer is to provide a forum for those who are interested in Krishna to come together and nourish their attraction to Krishna. In Krishna conscious movement, we learn who is Krishna, what is our relationship with him, why we should love him, and how we should love him. Therefore, we should drop all materialistic association from this point on. And the way to drop material association is to associate with devotees. When you will hear Srila Prabhupada's lecture on Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada actually recites this Nectar of Instruction, text number 2, in that Nectar of Devotion lecture. So the Nectar of Devotion, third line, says Jana-sanga, that we have to avoid association of materialistic people. But when you will hear that Prabhupada reciting this Nectar of Instruction, text number 2, instead of Jana-sanga, Prabhupada recites Sadhu-sanga. So Prabhupada is reciting the solution from text number 3 in text number 2. Prabhupada, in that lecture you will hear, Prabhupada is talking about the solution piece. So instead of reciting Nectar of Instruction, third line as Jana-sanga, Prabhupada recites from Nectar of Instruction, text number 3, Sadhu-sanga. Because Prabhupada is giving the solution that by Sadhu-sanga, you avoid Jana-sanga. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations, starting with Meghna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I was a little premature in raising my hand because you answered the question.
Okay, very good. Rest of you? How do you apply Jana-sanga or avoid material association on a day-to-day basis? Don't you all have that question? Yes, no, silence.
Yes, Prabhuji, I do have that question.
Okay, rest of you, only Priyanka?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, what you do in the material world, at your workplace or your study, you be there for functional need. So, I am an accountant. Samma is also an accountant. There may be others also. So, when somebody comes to talk to me at my workplace for, I need the funding amount of so-and-so, it's a functional need. I am there for that function. I will talk and exchange conversations about that functional need, and that's it. I am not interacting anything more with anybody else. I'm not interacting in any gossip. At my workplace, and I'm pretty sure many of you may have the similar situation, that after work, colleagues go out either to a sports bar or a drink bar or whatever to mingle together. So at my workplace, some colleague will send a message, oh, today after work, we are going to so-and-so place to drink or list or look at the sports or whatever. And another colleague responds, I will join only if there is gossip. Gossip is detrimental to your spirituality. So I am not interested in those conversations, in those associations. So I don't go for those after work association. I have no interest in associating with my colleagues after work because whatever they'll be talking after work has nothing to do with the functional need. I am at my workplace for my functional need. I will converse, no gossip, nothing. Now, at my workplace also, there are some Indians also working. So they end up talking something or the other. So I will generally have a Bhagavad Gita on my desk. Now you don't have to blindly follow this. You can do it only if it allows you to follow this. So I will have Bhagavad Gita on my desk, and almost all my colleagues, I have given them Bhagavad Gita. Not all, almost all. So this one colleague who is from India will come and talk to me for the work-related work. And when that is finished, we'll start talking some gossip. Whatever that colleague will talk about, I will find a relevant Bhagavad Gita verse and make that colleague read that Bhagavad Gita verse. So what am I doing? My first intent is to protect myself from gossip. Simultaneously, I am giving the association of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna through Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita to that colleague of mine. So when the colleague reads, the colleague will generally ask me a question, most likely. And then I will tell the colleague, okay, you have Bhagavad Gita, go home, read so-and-so verse, and tomorrow come discuss with me that particular verse. So what exactly did I do? I avoided the association of materialistic people, simultaneously gave the association, the spiritual association to my colleague. And next day, this colleague will read that verse at home and come next day to talk to me. Hey, I read that verse and I have a follow-up question. Well, I protected myself already from gossip. This colleague actually ended up coming to the Bhagavad Gita classes because of this every so often conversations about Bhagavad Gita. Does that help with everybody? Inquiry
Yes,
on that?
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. And the last item of the 6 items that spoil bhakti is Laulyam. And there is a correlation with all these items. We'll soon discuss all of those correlations. Priyanka?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry, but I still have a follow-up question on the previous
Yeah,
item. May I ask?
go ahead.
So on Jana-sanga, while I understand that if our relation with the person across is impersonal in case of in the workplace, or if it's a colleague or a friend, then it's slightly easier to navigate the conversation as against somebody in the family who we know is associating in gossip, where we don't want to be rude to our family, but we still want them to know that we are invested in the conversation. So how do we navigate that situation?
Yeah, so if you are invested in the conversation, then you are invested in gossip. So what you have to do is you don't have to be invested in the gossip, in the conversation. At times, you are not just in family, say you are hearing from a senior family member, or at your workplace when you are hearing, say, from a manager or some senior colleague, you may not be able to leave that conversation. So at that time, you simply hear, you don't have to talk. You simply hear and you try to correlate with Bhagavad Gita verse. So I have described the example, a simple example to understand the principle, that here in North America, the most common conversation is about weather. And I have described that even if the other person, my colleague, is talking about weather, that is pure materialistic talk, I am remembering Bhagavad Gita 2.14, Matra Sparshestu Kaunteya, Sita Ushna Sukhada, that all this happiness and distress will come and go just as summer and winter. Therefore, we need to learn to tolerate. So the other person is talking gossip or mundane thing, but you are listening or you are trying to link that conversation to Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. That way you are using that opportunity to make it spiritual. So initially, maybe hard to find a verse. I have shown you all how to use Bhagavad Gita index. to look up a verse, initially you may also need little hand holding to say, ask someone, well, I had so-and-so situation. What relevant verse is there? You can initially ask, and little by little, it will become second nature to find relevant verse and use Shastra Chakshu to make all conversation spiritual. Priyanka?
Yes, Prabhuji, that is helpful. Hare Krishna.
Meghna?
Can you give us an example of that, please?
Example of what?
Of what you just said, to switch it around and make it relevant.
Yeah, so I gave a simple example about weather. I have given another example in the Bhagavad Gita class that during the COVID times, I changed departments. Same work, I just changed the department. In the new department, everybody told me, so on day one when everybody was introducing everyone, everybody told me this one particular colleague is, oh, very nice, very helpful. Everybody told me this. Oh, this is very nice person, very helpful. And I so happened to have to work with this colleague at the start. And I actually realized that this person actually had demoniac nature. How did I do it? Because I did not take the statements of my other colleagues as true. I said, okay, I accept what you are saying, but I will still apply Shastra Chakshu. Whether this person is, so I'm not looking at everybody with a negative eye. No. I was working normally with this colleague, and as I'm working, I realized this person is actually a backstabber. Even though everybody said that this person is very nice. So my manager is a female and is actually a little bit feminist. And this colleague, who everybody said is very nice, is also female, who's actually is a backstabber. So I actually went to my manager and I told the facts to my manager about this person, that actually she is a backstabber, although everybody is saying she's very nice. But she actually is a backstabber. And even when my manager is a little bit feminist, she actually went to this colleague of mine and asked her to stop doing what she was doing. Now, how did I do this? I actually remembered Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, the qualities of demoniac people. Meghna, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, this was helpful. So, for example, at workplace, say I have, patients, family, sometimes when their needs are not met or for whatever reason, they sometimes talk bad about the nursing staff or other staff. And, it hurts me because everybody's putting in their efforts you know, uh, but would it be okay if I change that around to say, to hear them out and say, so I understand you needed so and so. So switch the focus on what they needed rather than talking bad about the person. Would that be an example?
Yeah, you are correct. So you do two things.
Mm.
First, you remember Bhagavad Gita 4.17, that somebody talking bad or doing something bad to you, it can be either way. Either talking bad is bad or doing something bad to you is bad, is karma. So you remember 4.17 verse that even the intelligent do not understand how karma works. So we just have to learn to tolerate. So in your head, You remember 4.17 that this is my karma, but it is very difficult to understand that what bad karma did I do to deserve this. And simultaneously, we have discussed in the karma discussion that for yourself, apply the laws of karma very, very stringently. Simultaneously, for others, do not apply the law of karma. For others, apply what is my dharma? How can I help you? Meghna?
That was very helpful. Thank you. So you brought about two things, the karma and the dharma in here. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good. Samma?
I actually have a very naive question. So I know that, like, I understand that it's better to navigate the conversation, but obviously, like me being at a very starting stage of, like, trying to understand Bhagavad Gita and stuff. So when it comes to, say, for example, my daughter who is like 9, and if I want to, introduce her to spirituality, or try to connect things to Bhagavad Gita. How do I do it? Because right now I'm at a stage which is like really starting point of
Very good.
this journey.
Yeah, very good. So you are already on the right track that Samma has herself got caught up on Bhagavad Gita study and realizes the benefit and wants the daughter also to study Bhagavad Gita from the start. So one of the question, when we come to question answer session, one of the question devotee has asked the same question, that these spiritual subject matter should be taught from early stage. So you are, Samma, absolutely on the right track, and therefore I gave you the contact of Aditi Mataji to get your daughter enrolled in her Bhagavad Gita class, which is for the kids, relevant for the kids. Now, in terms of your specific question, that when, say, you face something, or when, say, your daughter asks a question, how do you find that Shastra Chakshu, or how do you look through the eyes of scriptures? So I explained when answering about Priyanka's question that initially you may need little hand holding. So you can either message me, oh, I have so-and-so situation. What's the relevant verse in Bhagavad Gita that I can correlate? Or you can connect with other devotees from the classes. So that way you will develop a relation with other devotees, because our bottom line goal is to develop relation with devotees so that we can revive our relation with Krishna. So try this. And I have also explained in our classes how to use Bhagavad Gita index to look up verses from the index. So you can find a topic. Now, using Bhagavad Gita index is not straightforward, because Bhagavad Gita is not any ordinary book that you get in the material world. Bhagavad Gita is special. So you just have to use it few times and get accustomed to how the Bhagavad Gita index is laid out. And you will very easily be able to look up on a sometime in future. I'm not saying tomorrow, sometime in future. Initially, you may need hand holding. So message me. I have so-and-so situation, just in 1 or 2 lines. You don't have to go into so much detail. Just say topic. What's the verse for so-and-so topic? And I can provide some relevance, some relevant verse for that. Samma, does that help you?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay, very good. Actually, you are doing very good for getting you caught up and getting your family also involved in Bhagavad Gita study. So when you have your surrounding also spiritual, it becomes easier for everyone. Instead of, if one spouse is material and one spouse is spiritual, well, that's going to be a challenge, because there will always be a conflict that one spouse wants to go one way and the other spouse wants to go the other way. So a perfect example is here our dear Monarch Prabhu. Both husband and wife, his wife Mansi, both husband and wife are spiritual. It becomes easy. Both are doing exact same things, coming to temple for services and studying the scriptures. So it's easy because everybody is on the same wavelength. Meghna?
So what does one do when the partners are not both involved in Krishna consciousness?
Yeah, take this as a challenge for yourself to practice spirituality. So Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has tagged you with your spouse because he knows what we don't know. So use that situation where your spouse is not spiritual or not inclined, then use the opportunity to practice principles such as tolerance, compassion. Give them prasad. You make prasad, you offer bhoga at your home temple. And if the family member is willing to take prasad, is okay. If they are not willing to take prasad, then give them in a subtle way. That you offer water to Gopinath at your home temple and mix the Maha water with the rest of the water in a big jug. And that becomes water for the day. It's Maha water. And Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita 3.13, 3.14 verse, somewhere around there, that unless somebody takes prasad, it is very difficult for them to understand spirituality, because only after taking prasad, their finer tissues in the brain get cleansed, and then they will understand spirituality. So use it for your practice without worrying on the results. If you worry on the results, then it will become 3.27. That Vimudha Atma Karta Aham Iti Manyate. Meghna?
That is very helpful, because unfortunately that is exactly how it plays out in my family. And it's a challenge, as you pointed out.
Yeah, so Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna has given you that association for what he knows, what we don't know. So you practice without worrying the results.
Okay.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So the last of the 6 items in text number 2 is Laulyam. Laulyam means excess greed. And as I was talking, that there is correlation between all the 6 items. Let me first explain that. So what are the 6 items that spoil bhakti from Nectar of Instruction, text number 2? Anybody memorize text number 2? Would like to recite? Anybody wants to recite, even if you have to look up from the book?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्ति विनश्यति. Hare Krishna.
Very good. So Atyahar, Prayas, Prajalpa, Niyamagraha, Jana-sanga, and Laulyam. These are the 6 items that Shadbir Bhakti Vinashyati. Vinashyati means destroy. These 6 items destroy bhakti, and there is a correlation between all these 6 items. That when we have Atyahar, Atyahar means the urge to accumulate more and more money, information, etc. That leads to prayas. Prayas means over endeavor, because things don't come free, which results in Jana-sanga, means association of non-devotees, because materialistic people are engaged in over endeavoring for the sake of sense gratification. And because of Jana-sanga, materialistic people who are greedy results in Laulyam. Laulyam means excess greed comes upon us. So Atyahar is the tendency to accumulate more and more, while Laulyam is excess greed. So the two are related with subtle differences. Atyahar is more intrinsic and Laulyam is more acquired. So Srila Prabhupada explains that Atyahar is more subtle while Laulyam is more explicit. When there is Jana-sanga and Laulyam, then naturally because we associate with materialistic people, we end up talking. Hence, there is prajalpa. Prajalpa means useless talk. As we associate with materialistic people who are not following any of these principles, who do not follow any rules and regulations, the result is that we don't feel the importance of these rules ourselves also. Or the other way is that materialistic people follow rules because they feel that these are just rituals to be observed. Hence, both kinds of Niyamagraha happen when we associate with non-devotees. So, Atyahar is possessing things too much. Laulyam is excessive and disproportionate desire. That excessive desire can be for bhukti, mukti, siddhi also. So all these desires make us asham, make us not peaceful. Because nature of desires is that they are insatiable. As desires blaze more and more, they are detrimental to our spiritual life. This is how Maya attacks, by messing up our priorities. So many of you have heard this short lecture titled First Priority is to keep the first priority as the first priority. So for practicing devotional service, we need to practice this first priority is to keep the first priority as the first priority. What is my first priority? Spirituality is my first priority. That means when we are making plans, when we are making our schedules, our to-do list, we have to keep in mind that my goal in life is Krishna and Krishna consciousness. And I want to orient everything in my life around this goal of Krishna and Krishna consciousness. If we can give maximum time to Krishna conscious activities, this is wonderful. And even if I cannot, I have to understand clearly that my priority is devotional service. So all of you may have your calendar or a to-do list. What I do on January 1st, and you can also follow if it works for you. On January 1st, I make a calendar for the whole 12 months year. The first thing that I populate on my calendar is I take up the calendar of ISKCON and I populate all the Ekadashis, I populate all the festivals and all the services that I have to do. And then I populate the rest of my material tasks around Krishna and Krishna conscious activities. This is how we are supposed to orient our life. Does not mean I am successful 100%. I'm at least trying. And if you are not already doing it, and if you think this is a good example, you can apply this. So we have to keep bringing ourselves back again and again. Just as when you are driving a car, the car by nature will go off track. The driver brings the car back on track again and again and again. Similarly, we have to keep bringing ourselves back on track. So Laulyam can happen very subtly, but become very strong over a period of time. So one small course deviation Then there is second small course deviation, third, fourth deviations. So if the course deviations are not corrected, the result will be completely off track. So last class, I did, not last class, but the last to last class, I did ask devotees to connect with me if they are not doing their endeavors. Few devotees connected with me and they rectified their situation. So Krishna has explained in 6.26 that the nature of the mind is that mind will wander. You cannot stop the mind from wandering. We have to just keep bringing the mind back. So that's what devotees did. That they connected with me and they rectified their situation. Not just for that one point in time, but on a go forward basis. And at least one devotee, couple of devotees, did mention to me in the following week also that yes, I am trying to continuously rectify myself. While some other devotees never bothered to connect with me. Soon when we discuss the question answer session, this is the first question, that the devotees who never connected with me heard my conversation as yada, yada, yada. Oh, this person is just talking. But you will soon realize the result from the first question that the devotee has asked, and we'll continue this conversation when we come to the first question. I will definitely answer the first question today, if not all questions, but I will definitely answer the first question from the inquiry submitted. That what is the result of not following diligently or not plugging that hole in your life by which Maya enters into your life. So Maya enters your life through a small crack, and then Maya expands like a foam. So my message to many of your devotees in the class as well as personally was so that I can help you plug that hole. But many devotees didn't bother, except the few who connected with me and they realized, oh no, I have to rectify, and they did rectify. So I think all of you have heard this lecture, I'm pretty sure, except Samma. This lecture, which is titled First Priority, is to keep the first priority as the first priority. So anyone who wants this lecture can get it from me, or you may already have it. You should listen to it again. So continuing the discussion on Laulyam, that similarly with respect to our spiritual life, these course deviations are inevitable. Nature of the world is that it will thrust other priorities on us. Sometimes other things are important. But when we finish those other things, we have to come back to Krishna again. A perfect example is our dear monarch Prabhu. That last few weeks, he had a material world exam to appear to, for which he had to prepare, and he messaged that he will not attend the classes. And before today's class, he said, my material task got completed yesterday. I am back in the class today and I will catch up. This is perfect balance. This is what we have to do. That yes, when we do have material, some important endeavors where we are required to spend more time, then we spend more time there. But as long as we come back and catch up, that is balance. I have given the example of riding a bicycle and trying to turn, and then if you don't tilt your wheel back after turning, then you will fall away. So as soon as I get the opportunity, I will come back and I will do that course correction. But again, I am bound to get deviated. Again, I have to do the course correction. By this, I keep moving forward. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, even if we have gone wrong, that does not mean we have to go back to the starting point and start again. No. When we get deviated, we might think, I will never be able to become serious again. Just forget the whole thing. I cannot become Krishna conscious. No, we don't have to think that way. We just have to do course corrections, small course corrections, every so often. So Jana-sanga is how we get deviated. We have to bring ourselves back on track as soon as we can and to the best of our capacity by devotee association. And remember this point, Jana-sanga is how we get deviated. As soon as I answer the question number 1, all these points will get correlated to that question number 1 as soon as we discuss the inquiries. I will pause here, start with Meghna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you mentioned people can have excess desire for bhakti, mukti as well. Is there such a thing as excess desire, and what does that lead to?
So I didn't say bhakti. I excess desire for bhukti,
Okay,
mukti and siddhi. Bhukti means I want to enjoy material world more and more. Mukti means I want liberation. And siddhi means all these yogis who want some specific siddhis. Those are desires. These desires are hindrances on the path of bhakti. So I didn't say bhakti. I said in the 3 categories of excessive desire, I said bhukti, not bhakti.
I see. Thank you.
Everybody on the same page? The last point in Nectar of Instruction, text number 2, Prabhupada explains in the purport the benefits of avoiding these 6 obstacles on the path of bhakti. That what are the advantages of avoiding these 6 obstacles? First is society will be ideal. Prabhupada says first result will be that there will be an ideal society because people will not be greedy. Second benefit is enmity will be destroyed, or at least enmity will be minimized, because enmity or enviousness originates because of greed. Plus, the third benefit is that economic maladjustments get corrected. Because the main problem is resources are limited and desires are unlimited. The fourth benefit is political stability. If we avoid all these 6 activities of Nectar of Instruction, text number 2, then we curtail our desires and then the resources can be managed. Hence, there will be political stability. Fifth benefit is spiritual community is established. People who want to practice these things, means practice spirituality, they want an environment to practice spirituality. And that environment is provided by Krishna conscious movement. How? First is ISKCON becomes the cause of spiritual awakening. That ISKCON does this first by education and second by training. The important point is that that Krishna conscious movement provides facilities, support and systems, arrangements by which people can become Krishna conscious. In association of devotees, we get education, training, we learn philosophy, and we learn how to practice the philosophy. Education means to know what to do. Training means to know how to do what to do. So how to chant, how to worship, how to study scriptures, how to make spiritual advancement, how to practically engage in Krishna's service, how to return back home to Krishna. All this we learn from devotees. So our goal is more we engage in association of devotees, the more we will be able to break free from atyahar, prayas, prajalpa, niyamagraha, Jana-sanga, and Laulyam. Thus, we have completed Nectar of Instruction text number 2. I will pause here for any questions, comments, realizations before I give you spiritual endeavor.
Sorry, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Can you tell me the third point, please? You said society will be ideal, enmity will be minimized. I missed out on the third point.
Third is economic maladjustments get corrected because the main problem is resources are limited and desires are unlimited. So when you are living according to avoiding text number 2 items, then you are living a simple life, then your desires are in control. This result will be economic maladjustments will get corrected. Meghna?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Very good. Priyanka?
Prabhuji, since we know that Kali Yuga is approaching and it is progressing also very quickly, so when we talk about economic maladjustments will be reduced and the benefits of it, how do we understand those when we know that eventually there is going to be deterioration?
So Kali Yuga is already here. In terms of economic development, Prabhupada has said this word about economic development multiple ways. Prabhupada's favorite line about economic development is, economic development is nonsense. So Prabhupada has said this word, this line, this sentence in few lectures in this bold way, very strongly to emphasize. He has said, economic development is nonsense. And other lectures, Prabhupada has said the same sentence in a chuckling way. Economic development is nonsense. Prabhupada has said it both ways. That everybody will discuss this in Shishopanishad, the very first mantra. Not the first, but the invocation mantra. That Krishna has provided for everyone according to a particular quota. So why do we need to worry about economic development? Prabhupada said, we discussed this at our last class. Prabhupada said in Nectar of Instruction text number 2 purport that live a simple life. Get one cow and have a small land behind your backyard. Live in a small, simple house. Grow your own fruits and vegetables. And where's the need for economic development? Srimad Bhagavatam, factory is described as another name for hell. So Prabhupada simultaneously said that Krishna consciousness is not against economic development as long as economic development is used in Krishna's service. Just as we are using internet and computer for Krishna's service right now. So nothing wrong as long as it is used in Krishna's service. Otherwise, economic development is useless. So we don't need to so focused on economic development. We just have to learn to live a simple life and spend the time on high thinking. Priyanka?
Yes, Prabhuji, more so like this is for us to follow and not really think about the benefits that are associated with.
Yeah, so Priyanka living in Bombay and many of us living in Toronto, these are economic hubs of respective countries where economic development is all that is talked about. So we kind of get influenced by our surrounding, but we have to stop ourselves. We have to live simple life and spend time on high thinking. Priyanka?
Yes, Prabhuji, that's helpful. Hare Krishna.
Everybody on the same page? All right. So standard spiritual endeavor is, without me stating, is that read all the purports and verses we have covered. So read up to text number 2. And I have explained that Nectar of Instruction book looks like a very tiny book, but each statement in Nectar of Instruction is very heavy because you have to contemplate on each of those statements and think what is going on, what is being described. So some devotees at our last class did explain that Nectar of Instruction is very heavy. Each text is very heavy to contemplate. Did anybody else had the similar experience?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right, not many.
Yes, probably.
Okay. So the second endeavor is that in the WhatsApp group, I will post a Google link. By end of day Wednesday, all of you will do 2 things on the Google form, that you will explain 1 or more striking points and you will ask 1 or more inquiries. Plus, would you like me to post the first priority lecture in the WhatsApp group? I know Samma would want it. Others, would you like to listen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, listen to this first priority lecture multiple times. It's only 7-minute lecture, but listen to it again and again. And in terms of memorization, I have given for you all to memorize few verses from Bhagavad Gita. So you can add few more verses to memorize. You can add 3.27, 4.2 Bhagavad Gita verses, as well as you can also memorize up to text number 2 Nectar of Instruction. So what all you have memorization for? You have Bhagavad Gita 1.1, 2.7, 2.13, 2.47, 2.54, 2.62, 3.27, 4.2, then Nectar of Instruction text number 1 and text number 2. So you don't have to stress out on this memorization. You can memorize what works best for you. Those who are able to memorize more can memorize more. For example, Priya Darshini has actually memorized many of these verses. I think all of these verses in one recording, not individually. She's able to recite all of them. So you should set that as a goal to come to this point. Don't stress that I am not able to do. Come to this goal at some point of time. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So I will now answer inquiries submitted by devotees. I won't answer all of them because there are quite a few and many of us have to go to the temple today for services, and today being Ekadashi, the service volume is much more. Therefore, many devotees are going to come. So I will only answer at least the first inquiry, which is very important and very relevant to the conversation we were having. So I will bring up on screen the inquiry. So the first inquiry is, how should we increase the quality of our chanting if our sadhana has fallen at some point? So this, as I already mentioned, that this question number 1 is very timely, that at the last to last class, I had mentioned for devotees to connect with me who are not doing their spiritual endeavors. And at the last class, we ran out of time. Therefore, I did not discuss the point about those not completing the spiritual endeavors. So I had asked all such devotees not completing the spiritual endeavor to connect with me offline. And even after my personal message, some chose to ignore. So the devotee who has asked this question I have had multiple offline conversations that this devotee needs to be cautious. The devotee has heard my cautions as yada, just as those who did not complete the spiritual endeavors and ignored my follow-up messages. This is the result that you are going to face. That your sadhana will be completely fallen out of its place. So just as all those not completing spiritual endeavor and choosing to not converse with me, watch carefully. I had cautioned this devotee who had asked this question multiple times to do the course correction, but the devotee didn't care. So all those who do not do the spiritual endeavors, I have explained that from all previous batches, right now we are up to batch number 7. From all previous batches, all those who don't do spiritual endeavor, they drop off because you are not developing spiritual taste. So the devotee who has asked this question is a live example described in the short lecture. First priority is to keep the first priority as the first priority. In that short lecture, Chaitanya Chandas explains that if you do not do small course corrections, then the airplane will land in a different city than the destination, or the airplane will land in no man's land. The devotee who has asked this question is a live example that I kept telling the devotee, be very cautious, be very cautious, be very cautious, to the point that I stopped saying be very cautious. And look at the result. I kept asking the devotee to do course corrections multiple times. So from the previous to previous class, when I asked all the devotees who did not do their spiritual endeavors to connect with me, some connected with me and they were astonished. They were like, oh, this is eye-opener. I never realized that I am going off track. And they immediately did course corrections. So if you do not do course corrections, this is the live example that you will fall behind on your sadhana. So the answer to the question in terms of to get back on track. So to this devotee, I already sent my Guru Maharaj's lecture, which is actually titled How to Make a Comeback. So a few other devotees also heard this lecture. If anybody wants, you can get it from me. It's a short lecture where my Guru Maharaj explains. It was a very timely lecture where my Guru Maharaj explains that how do you come back. First, understand what happens before that caused the fall down. That when you fall behind on your sadhana is because you become lethargic, because you are doing prajalpa, because you are doing Jana-sanga, which creates a crack and Maya enters through a crack and expands like a foam. And then Maya gives you so many options to choose from to enjoy in the material world. My Guru Maharaj explains in the lecture, he gives you a package. Maya gives you a package. Oh, how about I give you one thing, two things, then combine the first and the second thing. That's what Maya does, because you left a crack in your consciousness. So the solution is, what you have to do is you have to become disciplined. Do japa with other devotees. We have japa group. Devotees do japa morning Toronto time and evening Toronto time, at least one round of japa. Associate with devotees. So every time you ask me a question which starts with how, just as this question number 1 starts, how? Well, it is for you to fix your situation. I can only give you so much instruction. So take baby steps. Become disciplined. Complete your daily sadhana first thing in the morning during the Brahma Muhurta period. Do your weekly spiritual endeavors as soon as possible, not 10 minutes before next class. You have to rectify. I have given you all the instructions. I will pause here and I would like to hear from every single one of you on this very important inquiry. Everybody? Meghna, first you can start.
I was thinking, if you do fall off the sadhana practice, do you beat yourself up and feel negative about it, or do you dust it off and say, no, what is done is done. I've learned my lessons now, moving on.
Okay, Meghna, read Bhagavad Gita 6.26. Krishna has given the answer to your question.
Sorry, just bringing it up. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self.
So the nature of the mind is to wander. You cannot stop the mind from stop wandering. You do not have an off switch. What you have to do is don't get hung up, because you are bound to have your mind deviated. You just keep course correction on a go forward basis. Keep doing that course correction till your mind becomes purified enough that it doesn't deviate you anymore. Meghna, does that answer?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so don't feel negative. Just focus. So the devotee is brave enough to ask this question, although I don't disclose anybody's names. So the devotee is brave enough to ask. I already gave the solution. I sent my Guru Maharaj's lecture, which is titled How to Make a Comeback. Few other devotees also heard that lecture. If anybody wants to listen to that lecture, by all means, you are welcome to get it from me. And just recognize that this will happen to you at some point of time also. So be prepared ahead of time. Everybody, I want to hear from everybody.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to say that lecture was really good and it came to me at the right moment. So I just wanted everybody else to also give that lecture a good lesson.
Yeah, Sumnima is referring to a lecture of my Guru Maharaj on how to make a comeback. Although this question is not from Sumnima. Sumnima heard that lecture by herself, but it was still, oh no, I need to ensure that I keep doing course correction. So whosoever wants are welcome to get it from me. Rest of you, I want everyone to answer on this question number 1. It's a very important inquiry. Silence. I got silence from rest of you.
Probably the fact that the devotee is asking, that means he is sincere and he will come back whenever Krishna wants him to. So,
Yeah, you are correct. The devotee is sincere, but then you have to follow through your sincerity. It's not verbal sincere. It's practical sincere, right? You have to become diligent, not just verbally, not yada, yada, yada. Rest of you,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Prabhuji, Yes, I think they should listen to the important lectures provided by you. Like first priority is the priority.
Very good. Yes. What's your question? You have inquiry?
These lectures helps a lot.
Yeah, very good. Rest of you, I want to hear from everyone about this situation in question number 1, because at some point this may happen to you. So be prepared.
I think it's very important that like once you're fallen off and you're trying to start again, I think consistency would play a really important role.
Yeah.
And you need to do it like with a focused mind. And if you're consistent, I think it will be very hard to again fall off the track.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So you should, I've given you all that there is a japa group where devotees from all batches connect to chant one round of japa together. Do japa with devotees and get the association of devotees. At least Sumnima, when she joined that japa group for the first time, she was amazed at the quality of japa of all those devotees. Sumnima, you want to share your experience?
Yes, Prabhuji. So, when I first joined the group and did it with the devotee, it was the best japa I'd ever done. So, it's really nice.
That's the power of the association of devotees. So those devotees have been doing this japa together for many years now. So take advantage of those devotees, associate with devotees. Does that answer the inquiry? Although many of you are still silent, even when I'm asking everyone to speak up, but that's okay. You can connect with me offline if you feel.
May I ask how it was different and what were the important takeaways rather than doing japa on your own?
Yeah, Sumnima, explain. I'll explain then.
So when I usually do on my own, it's just the thoughts, and then in general, I think it's beyond words sometimes, but it just felt really good. And I think when we hear others also chant it, it multiplies in some sort. So it was just really good and felt really nice.
So I will explain that. Thank you, Sumnima. I'll further add to Sumnima's point that, yeah, Sumnima is correct. It's hard to explain unless you experience that. That when I do my japa individually, I'm preparing my to-do list. My mind is wandering here and there. But the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is actually very relishable. So when you are chanting japa together with devotees who have actually relished that Hare Krishna name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so you are actually hearing the pure japa than what my contaminated japa is. That's what Sumnima is explaining as is unable to explain. So join japa with the japa group once or twice, and you will feel that relishing of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Meghna?
Yeah, thank you. I think what I'm understanding is that the energy multiplies and the energy is focused at a much higher vibration.
Correct. Yeah. You are absolutely correct.
Thank you.
Questions, comments, realizations? So we still have 30 minutes, but I request all of you if we can please stop here, because many of us have to go for services to the temple, and I also have to get ready. I also have a lot of services today. So I will answer rest of the inquiries in subsequent class if everyone is okay. Is everyone okay with the plan?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
everybody.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.